Here's what the word blacklist means. During the late 1940s until the late 1950s, blacklist had a different meaning. It referred to the informal yet devastating system that excluded certain individuals from employment in the entertainment industry. What were the criteria to make someone excluded? Alleged communist affiliation or sympathies, often without empirical proof. This practice emerged in a period when fear, ideology, and politics all coalesced to reshape American culture. The Hollywood blacklist emerged out of the unrest of the Cold War. Post-World War II, the relations between the US and the Soviet Union deteriorated rapidly due to ideological mistrust and conflicting post-war goals. Several espionage cases, such as those involving Alger Hiss and the Rosenbergs, proved that Soviet spies had in fact infiltrated areas of the US government. Politicians, principally Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, exploited this fear, transforming anti-communist suspicion into a political weapon. Within this combative environment, a federal investigative body named HUAC, the House of Un-American Activities, began investigating the Hollywood film industry in the year 1947. The reasoning was that the movies broadcasted to the American public by the film studio would spread communist propaganda, obviously something that the federal government did not want. Notoriously, 10 screenwriters and directors refused to answer HUAC's questions, invoking their First Amendment rights, dubbing them the nickname the Hollywood 10. They were cited for contempt by Congress for their refusal to testify before HUAC's questions, and as a result, they were blacklisted from all major media studios. Additionally, they all lost their jobs, were fined up to $1,000, and sentenced to 6 to 12 months in federal prison. With shaky data, historians estimate that approximately 300 to 500 film industry workers were formally or informally blacklisted in Hollywood between the 1940s and the 1950s. Some fled to Europe to continue their work. Others that were younger saw their careers end before they even began. Some individuals joined groups and protested covertly. Many of those in the film industry adapted through resilience. Some used pseudonyms or intermediaries to continue their work. The quintessence of this was a man named Dalton Trumbo, a scriptwriter who penned two famous movies, Roman Holiday and The Brave One, under false names, which both ultimately won Oscars. Others, like Edward Dimtrick, eventually cooperated with HUAC to rebuild their careers. A few turned to theater or small independent projects, while others permanently left the profession. Wider than merely Hollywood, similar federal loyalty investigations swept the domains of government service, education, journalism, and television. The president at the time was Harry Truman, and he implemented an Executive Order 9835, which screened over 3 million federal employees for subversive ties. This meant fear-dictated policy, and accusation nearly always replaced empirical proof. This roughly decade-long period began declining in the mid-1950s when the political climate shifted because of public fatigue, court challenges, and the discrediting of McCarthyism. In 1960, Trumbo was publicly credited for his movies Exodus and Spartacus, which symbolically and covertly ended the blacklist era. The eventual consensus was that Trumbo, as well as other members of the Hollywood 10, were all victims of political repression in that era. Ultimately, the blacklist revealed how political panic can dismantle foundational rights and reshape culture. This historical period also warns of what occurs when ideology eclipses principle and fear supplants reason. To me, the era reminds me that the freedom to think and create must never depend on the comfort of those in political power. Thank you.